Hey everybody. I hope everybody's well. Well, y'all, this is the 12th day of my water fast. I have 2 more days to go, and I am so ready for those days to come and go, y'all. Tired. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you all about. Y'all, I got something to say, and y'all know I'm gonna fucking say it. Okay, so here it goes. And now you Christians, don't get y'all panties in a bunch, right? But I have a question and I just want to know the answer. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to start no fight. And I hope y'all gonna be saying I'm gonna get struck down by God and go to hell because, honey, that's when I was young. I grew up in a Christian household and I thought that whoever, that God that my grandmother and them served was a hateful, mean, I couldn't understand if he loved me, why he was gonna burn me. I was scared to move, breathe, and everything with that God. So I don't know, but y'all believe it, and okay. But my question is this, and let me say one more thing about you, so-called Christians. Some of y'all, right? Y'all are the most backbiting, lying, judgmental, evil, jealous. Y'all got all the qualities on the lower spectrum. Since God is good and evil, he created evil. I don't know why he would do that, but he did. But he created evil, and most of y'all fit on that part of that continuum. That's just the bottom line. Some of y'all, I wouldn't trust nothing that came out of your goddamn mouth, because I know a lot of Christians, and I know y'all mad because I said goddamn, but okay. I know a lot of Christians that go to church on Sunday, and Monday they're doing not Monday, Sunday at the church. They're doing everything that goes against what they say they believe. And I just be like, Lord, whatever. Right? But that's what y'all do. So I'm like, they don't even believe what they say they believe in, because for one thing, they don't even know what they believe in because they haven't done any research. They listen to somebody tell them some stuff and they run with it. They don't do any intellectual thinking, and that's just the bottom line. So my question is this. I like to look up words. So I wanted to look up the word begot, because they say that Jesus is God's only begotten son. So I look up the word, and it says begot just means to reproduce, or to, reproduce. So I'm like, okay, reproduce. So I look up, wait a minute, that's not what it says, y'all. It says to procreate. So I'm like, okay. So I look up procreate. Procreate just means to reproduce through copulation. Okay, so I know I got some smart asses out there, so I look up copulation because I wanted to make sure I understood what it meant. And it says to reproduce through sexual intercourse. Sex. Okay, and I know that there's other definitions and other books and other things that have different definitions, but I use the standard dictionaries that we all are entitled to use here in America. I use those, and that's what it said. So my question is this. If Jesus is God's only begotten son, but Mary got pregnant by herself. I ain't never seen it happen again, but let them tell it. Mary got pregnant by herself, right? And had Jesus. That doesn't make sense. So that would have to mean, if Jesus is God's only begotten son, that would have to mean that God had sex with Mary and they produced Jesus. That's the only way that happens. So if someone of you Christians out there can explain it to me, I'm open to hearing your interpretation of it. That's the only way that could happen. Because when I look the words up, that's what it means. I've never heard a woman having a baby by herself. It hasn't happened today, and I don't believe it ever happened. And like I said, in Greek or whatever, and when you look at their dictionary and look up words and things like that, you have another definition for these words. And I read one place where it said that a virgin could just mean that she was not married. And that makes more sense than to say that this whatever, Mary, the whole crazy story, had a baby by herself. That just doesn't make sense. And sometimes we don't do a lot of thinking. We let people think for us, and we run with that stuff. And we've been doing that for years. And what we have to understand is that even though that so-called Bible was originally one of our books, that they took a lot of stuff out of that book to give it to the slaves. To give it to the slaves. You have to wonder why they wouldn't let you read or write, but they'll let you read that bull crap. They gave you that, right? But they took so much of it out. You will never understand it if that's the only book that you're reading. It doesn't make sense. And that's all I'm saying. So help me to understand, because I don't, And like I said, I'm not a religious person. I grew up with all that. Like I told y'all, I was scared to death of the so-called God that my grandmother worshipped, and I was scared of him. I was like, I don't want him to be my daddy, and he gonna strike me down and send me to hell. Well, hell no, I'm cool, I can't get into it. And it was always a problem with me really getting into it, because I was like, if he loved me, why would he do all that? I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like I said, so I am a very spiritual person, and I'm becoming more spiritual, as time goes on, right? And my thing is this, nobody wants a higher power or a creator that they are afraid of. Like, you're afraid to make a mistake, and you're afraid to do something wrong, and you're afraid. I don't want that, So my thing is that I think that when we refer to the creator as God, that those three little words are too small to encompass all the beauty and magnificent it is for me. Right? And if you turn that word around, you got dog. So are you talking about Osiris? The dog god? I'm not understanding. Like, maybe am I thinking too much or what? Because what you all believe, I can't. It's like I can't make it make sense. And if you can't make it make sense, then it just don't make sense. So help me out with that, y'all. That's my question. Help me out with that. Put it in the comment section, something, because I don't get it, and I'll never get it. We have to understand some things, right? We have to start to think. We have to start to think. And I know the indoctrination is real, and I know the miseducation is real, because I have it myself. But it don't take much to just look stuff up and then try to come up with an interpretation that makes sense. Mary ass ain't had no baby by herself. What's wrong with you? Mary ain't had no baby by herself. If God implanted a seed in her, that means he had sex with her. That's just the bottom line. That's how that works. You need a man and a woman. So if they procreated and made Jesus, then that's what done happened. Okay? So y'all let me know. She's back, y'all. Ow.